important bounce back from what was an awful performance in LA. I think the guys put a lot into the game. Were we perfect on the night? Absolutely not. But the guys stuck with it. Shannon puts a good ball in, and CJ makes a big play. At a time where we needed one. It looked like they had a lot of young guys on the field, and the biggest thing when another team's playing young players is you have to kind of early on play at a speed that they're not used to. I don't think we did that, and it gave them confidence. And they have some really good young players, and it's a team that has a culture of winning. Okay, so they have winners. Obafemi and Clint aren't here, but the whole group that they have is used to winning. So it's going to be tough to break them down because they expect to win every time they step on the field. Something we're striving to build here. I thought we closed the game out poorly in the last 10 minutes. Decisions of when to go to the corner and try and kill a little bit of time versus try and going for the glory of a second goal. I don't think percentage-wise, I don't think we made a lot of smart plays at the end of the game. Again, I'll take responsibility for that, but there still is moments on the field where guys need to know their role. I can only scream it so loud sometimes to run to the corner, but again, happy for the guys again to bounce back. Tired legs, they put a lot into it, and smiling faces. While it wasn't a perfect game, nobody remembers at the end of the year what the 3 points looked like in the end of June. So again, a big 3 points for us, a much needed 3 points, and climbed up a little bit in the points.
Ryan, your first question. CJ now has 4 straight with the goal.
Yeah.
What's working for him?
Yeah, I mean, again, he's doing a lot of the things that we brought him here to do. He had the little setback. I think he learned a lot from that. His ability and his athleticism is I've played against him and I hated it. So you can tell center backs can't stand playing against him. He's a handful. He's a guy that is just tough to deal with. You can see he can jump off of 2 feet. He can jump in ways that most people can't, and elevate and kind of hang and decide. And he does a great job of holding the ball up for us. A lot of the little things that don't show up in the stat sheet, letting us breathe as a team when we finally do get the ball up to him instead of a quick turnover and now it's right back down our throats. He'll have a way of spinning out and making a little pass backwards to an outside back that I think a lot of people don't realize how much that helps the team. So again, obviously great to score goals. I love that he's a striker, he's scoring goals, but a lot of the little things and the work he does, and to see him running in the 90th minute there to close guys down and fight and get a piece of guys was exceptional. I'm really happy for him. He's been through a lot this year, and I think he is on pace to have a very good year in terms of goal output. I think he'll probably, if he maintains this form, break his past record in that regard.
So you mentioned not challenging that back line with 4 new guys in
Yeah.
there. Is it sustainable to keep going with CJ when you're not getting those runs out of your wingers that really put a defense under pressure?
Yeah, I mean, right now, health-wise, we don't have a ton of guys to go to that are natural wide guys. So, you saw tonight, I tried to switch Andrew to the right. I put Chaco out left to start. Thought our pressure wasn't great. It was a little disjointed. Newish roles. There were spots the guys have all played, but and wind up starting the second half back to the original way we did it last week with Pfeffer on the right, Chaco underneath where he is more comfortable, and Andrew out on the left. And we have the occasional glimmer of a good instance where we get to the end line and it's a good cross, but they're 20 minutes apart. You know what I mean? So you want more consistency from our attacking guys and from our whole team, to be honest. We've been a very inconsistent team. We'll have stretches where you go, wow, this team can play, and you'll have stretches where you go, I don't know what's going on out there. So again, it's getting some more consistency. It's late in the year now. Injuries have played a role, but every team's injured. Look at Seattle; they're an injured team as well. But getting the service, with the right runs, has been a challenge for sure.
Mark in front.
Jim, how important was it to just, regardless of how many guys are injured or suspended or whatever, to get this kind of result after what had to be a really tough effort on Saturday?
Yeah, we talked about the result in LA. if you look at the last 6 games now that we've played, we've actually performed well outside of that one. So I'm hoping that was a one-off. Obviously it's a shorthanded Seattle team, but you still have to. They're professionals, and it's tough to get 3 points in this league, no matter what. It's very, very difficult. And to their credit, they did a good job all night. We didn't concede a shot on goal till pretty late, which I was happy with. Again, that's what it should look like in our home building. But again, we're trying to get on a little bit of get some confidence, and I think wins in any way you can get them are important. And if it's an ugly 1-0-1 like tonight, we'll take it and we'll move on.
Yeah, Jim, when you talk about CJ's arrest, it really wasn't that long ago, probably just 7 weeks ago. He goes out, he does a rehab, and he comes back, not only early, but at a time when Fernando was hurt and other guys were hurt.
Right.
I mean, can you just sort of talk about where would this team be right now if it wasn't for his form and him being able to come back at that time?
Yeah, I think if you go back, it starts in what was our best win and our best maybe performance of the year in New York, when he comes off the bench there and gives us a holy cow moment where he just takes over the game, scores the goal, but is just a handful. And he does have, it sounds cheesy, but he does have a different look in his eye. When I put him in that game, it was kind of like he's usually a pretty laid back, smiley, kind of happy-go-lucky guy, but there was a focus and a desire that you took note, is what I would say. And I think he's carried that now in every game. To put his face in the line from, he go back to the first game of the year, he breaks his face. I mean, he's literally a guy that will put his body on the line for the team. So happy for him. But again, I think that that process changed, and without him right now, we'd be in trouble. Without him, Connor being injured is a factor. We just don't have a lot of depth there. Fernando, with all the injuries he's had, it's been a struggle. And CJ has stepped up and given us big goals, which is huge.
So we were here 2 weeks ago, and you said it wasn't the 3 games in a week; it was the travel.
Yeah.
So now you have a cross-country trip and
Yeah.
10 of the same 11.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
LA. So how do you handle Montreal and how do you handle DC, knowing they're right up on you?
Yeah, it's brutal. I wish we had a lot of healthy bodies. The one spot where we have healthy bodies that have played MLS games and contributed is outside back. So you've seen a little bit of a rotation between Ray, Fabi, and Shea, 3 guys that I think are obviously very capable, of kind of seamlessly going into in any moment in any game and stepping up. Because of injury, we don't have a lot of guys with a lot of experience maybe on the bench that have been in those battles, so it's not as easy to substitute just because there's multiple injuries at certain specific positions. So, yeah, it's a challenge. But the one thing I'll add is that the rest of all these teams, Montreal's playing Toronto right now, and what's their biggest rivalry game or whatever you want to call it of the year. And now they're on the same rest as us. You look ahead, Seattle, obviously with tonight, they know they have a game in Portland. So you saw they definitely had some guys out. And then when you look to DC, if you look ahead at these schedules, it's crazy because DC, we were supposed to play on Wednesday in the Open Cup. If you look 2 days later, they travel to Seattle to play the Sounders. So again, these variables for me are the biggest ones. And if someone could come up with an algorithm of the teams that play teams when guys maybe are on international duty and suspensions, it dictates a lot of points for the year. I can remember maybe a couple years ago we got a lot of breaks where a lot of top players were either suspended or it's a little bit lucky and quirky. But if you do look at the games that are, the next game. So again, DC playing us on a Tuesday, having to go to Seattle. Which game Benny handles or maybe treats to rest guys, I don't know. I'm hoping it's against us. So you hope you get those little breaks that maybe put the strain. It makes it a little bit more manageable. Because yes, tonight would be a lot harder if Oswaldo Alonso, Clint, and Obafemi are running around out there and Chad Marshall. So we got a break for sure, but we took advantage of it and we got 3 points, and that's kind of all you can do. You can only play the team that's here, and they still have good players.
Jim, going back to this,
Mm-hmm.
has his form and the way that you've talked about, has that affected how Fernando's status is with the team with negotiations going on?
No, it doesn't affect much. You need multiple forwards in this league. It's a spot where we've been thin at because Connor had that injury after T gave us 2 good games. So I would say you need a stable of good forwards. With Sebastian being out too, he's kind of a guy you could throw up there, and I could get away with letting him get some minutes up there. But to not have him has been an issue too. But you look across the league, you need multiple strikers to get you through the 34 games. So it doesn't affect anything in the negotiations with Fernando, CJ's form. So because you need multiple strikers, and CJ gives you the versatility to play on either side, the right or the left, if we do play with three up there.
Last one here, Ryan.
Do you expect anyone to return from injury for next season?
I hope so. I hope so. It's going to be close with a couple guys. Seb is a quick healer. Connor's close. He's got the kind of the final push. But it would be nice to have those guys for even if it's only 15, 20 minutes. Because even you think of I'm not going to pick on Ayuk, but I put him in a game where it's tough. He's an 18, 19-year-old kid, and it's a hard moment. He's never been in these situations of how to close out a 1-0 game. Whereas like a Fred, who again is up there in years, but he has the wisdom to take a foul, to slow things down, to be slow on a restart, to keep the ball when he should keep it, to put it in the corner. All those things add up. So to have a Connor or a Seba for the last 15 minutes to help close, it's a huge option to have.